Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty much everyone deals with, or at least sees: blackheads. You know, you've seen them, maybe tried getting rid of them, maybe even gotten sucked into watching those videos online.
Oh, yeah. The strangely satisfying ones.
Exactly. But here's a thought. What if basically everything you think you know about blackheads is, well, wrong?
It's a real possibility.
So our mission today is to kind of cut through the confusion, get into the real science, look at safe ways to deal with them, and even, why we find watching them get removed so fascinating.
Exactly. We're going on a bit of a journey, really. The idea is to arm you with solid information.
Right.
We'll kick off by busting some common myths, then we'll get into the nitty-gritty science of how they actually form.
Okay.
After that, we'll explore, what professionals do versus what you can safely do at home and what you probably shouldn't.
Crucial distinction there.
Definitely. Then we dive into that whole psychological angle, which is honestly really interesting. Why are we so hooked on those videos?
I can't wait for that part.
And finally, we'll look ahead. What's new? What's coming in terms of treatment? The goal is for you listening to walk away feeling confident about how to get clearer, healthier skin the right way, safely and effectively.
Perfect. Okay, let's start with, a big one. Blackheads aren't dirt. For ages, it feels like we've been told it's about not washing your face enough, but the science just doesn't back that up, does it?
Not at all. That's probably the single biggest myth we need to just, get rid of. Blackheads are, technically speaking, open comedones.
Open comedones, okay.
Yeah. Think of your hair follicles, those tiny pores. They get clogged up with a mix of stuff. Sebum, that's your skin's natural oil, dead skin cells. And, some bacteria, too.
It's not dirt.
Not dirt, the dark color. That's purely down to oxidation.
Oxidation, like when an apple turns brown.
Precisely. It's the same idea. When all that trapped gunk inside the open follicle hits the air, a chemical reaction happens. The keratin protein in the dead skin cells reacts with oxygen, and that's what makes it look dark. It's just chemistry happening on your face, nothing to do with hygiene levels.
That's fascinating. And okay, here's something else you mentioned that sounds really important. Not every dark spot is even a blackhead. Lots are these things called sebaceous filaments.
Yes, this is such a key point. Understanding this difference can, totally change how you approach your skin.
How are they different then?
Sebaceous filaments are, first off, they're usually smaller, maybe grayish looking, and they are completely normal. They're part of your skin structure.
Okay.
Their job is actually to help channel oil to the skin surface, keeping things moisturized. The absolute key difference is if you squeeze them out, which you probably shouldn't, they refill almost immediately, within a day or so.
Ah, okay. So those pore strips.
Exactly, those popular pore strips. Often what you're ripping out are these perfectly normal, necessary sebaceous filaments, not true blackheads. That's why it feels like it works, but then they're back tomorrow.
So you're not really solving the problem.
You're not. And worse, using those strips aggressively, research actually shows it can potentially damage your skin. It can stretch out your pores permanently over time and mess with your skin's natural protective barrier.
Wow. Okay, so if you've been fighting these things that just keep coming back, you might actually be fighting your own skin's normal function. That changes things.
It really does. Understanding that alone can save you a lot of grief and maybe some skin damage too.
All right, so we know what they are and what they aren't. Let's dig into how they actually, come to be in the first place. It feels like they just pop up overnight sometimes, but you're saying the process is actually much slower, like weeks, maybe even months.
Yeah, definitely not an overnight thing. It's a gradual buildup. It really happens in stages.
Okay, what are those stages?
Well, first, it often starts with overactive sebaceous glands. Those are the tiny glands attached to your hair follicles that make sebum, right? Your skin's oil. In people prone to blackheads, these glands just produce, too much oil. And lots of things can trigger that.
Like what?
Hormones are a big one. Think puberty, monthly cycles, pregnancy.
Yeah.
Those hormonal shifts can actually increase sebum production by up to 500%. It's huge.
500%.
Yeah. Genetics play a part too. If your parents have oily skin or acne, you're more likely to.
Uh-huh.
Then there are environmental things. High humidity, pollution, even some heavy cosmetics can contribute. And stress is another factor people often overlook.
Stress.
Yeah, stress increases certain hormones, androgens, which then tell your sebaceous glands to pump out more oil. So that's step one, too much oil.
Okay, so excess oil. What's next?
Step two is what we call irregular cellular turnover. So normally your skin sheds its dead cells pretty efficiently, about every 28 days. But for some people, especially those prone to acne and blackheads, those dead cells don't shed properly, they get sticky.
Sticky.
Yeah, they clump together inside the hair follicle instead of sloughing off, and that forms a blockage, a plug.
Ah, okay. So oil plus sticky dead cells equals a plug.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Then step 3 involves bacteria. There's a common skin bacteria called Propionibacterium acnes, or P. acnes. It loves oily, low-oxygen environments, so it thrives inside those plugged follicles.
Does the bacteria cause the blackhead?
Not directly, no.
Yeah.
It doesn't cause the initial plug, but it definitely contributes to inflammation and can make things worse. Interestingly, though, some new research suggests certain strains of P. acnes might even be good for skin health, so it's complex.
Huh.
And then the final step, step 4, is that oxidation we talked about earlier. Once that follicle opening is stretched by the plug and it's exposed to the air.
The top layer turns dark.
Exactly. That trapped mix of sebum and dead cells oxidizes within hours, and boom, you've got that characteristic dark spot we call a blackhead.
So quite a sequence of events. Excess oil, sticky cells, maybe some bacteria hanging out, and then air exposure.
Precisely. It's a combination of internal factors like hormones and genetics, and external ones like environment or even stress.
Given all that, is there like one main thing dermatologists target? Or is it always hitting it from multiple angles?
It's almost always a multi-pronged approach, While you definitely need to manage the oil and the cell turnover, those are foundational, really effective treatment. Usually involves tackling several of these steps at once.
Right. Okay.
That's why, for example, a good routine might have something to control oil, something to exfoliate those sticky cells, maybe even something to help balance the bacteria. You need to address the whole process.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so knowing all that complex background, the big question remains, how do we actually get rid of them safely, effectively? Let's get into that now. Comparing what the pros do versus what we can try at home, and maybe where the danger zones are with DIY stuff.
Okay, let's start with the pros. Professional extraction done by a dermatologist or a licensed esthetician is really considered the gold standard.
Why is that?
Well, they use sterile tools, usually a comedone extractor. They know the right technique, the right angle, the right amount of pressure. Plus, they prep the skin properly, cleansing, maybe using steam or warm compresses to soften the plug.
Okay.
And they follow up with antibacterial treatments. It's precise, it's hygienic. That's why studies show it has something like a 94% success rate with minimal risk of scarring or infection when done right. And the results? They can last a decent while, maybe 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks is pretty good. Are there other professional options besides just manual extraction?
Oh yeah, definitely. There are more advanced treatments. You might have heard of things like hydrofacial. That combines extraction with infusing the skin with hydration and antioxidants. Microdermabrasion is another one. It uses exfoliation in a vacuum to sort of suck out debris. And chemical peels are very common too.
What kind of peels work best?
Peels using acids like salicylic acid or glycolic acid are good. Salicylic acid is often preferred for blackheads because it's oil soluble.
Meaning
Meaning it can get deeper into the oily pore lining to dissolve that plug from the inside out. Glycolic acid is good too, but salicylic has that edge for oily congestion.
Okay, so lots of pro options. What about effective things we can actually do at home?
Consistency is really the name of the game at home. The most effective things are usually chemical exfoliants.
Like salicylic acid again.
Exactly. Over-the-counter products with salicylic acid, usually between 0.5% and 2%. You have to use them consistently, though. We're talking 6 to 8 weeks to really see results as it gradually dissolves those plugs.
So patience is required.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another powerhouse group are retinoids. These are vitamin A derivatives. You might know etapoline, which is available over-the-counter now, is different.
How do they work?
Retinoids work by speeding up your skin's natural cell turnover process. They basically tell your skin cells to shed more efficiently, which helps prevent those plugs from forming in the first place.
Ah, so they're more preventative.
They treat existing ones too, but they're fantastic at prevention. And then you have things like clay masks, kaolin clay, bentonite clay.
They work?
They offer temporary help. They're great at absorbing excess oil, so they can make blackheads look less obvious for a bit, but they don't actually remove the plug itself. So good for maintenance, maybe, but not a core treatment.
Okay, got it. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Squeezing them yourself at home. Everyone's tempted, right? What's the biggest risk you see there?
Oh, the biggest danger, easily, is forcing it. Trying to get something out that isn't ready, or using too much pressure, or worse, using your fingernails or dirty tools.
And what happens then?
Several bad things can happen. Number one is scarring. If you squeeze too hard or damage the follicle wall, you cause inflammation deep down, and that can lead to permanent scars, even those little pitted ice pick scars.
Okay.
Number 2 is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, or PIH. This is where the trauma causes dark spots to form. It's especially common in darker skin tones. They're like 3 to 4 times more likely to get PIH after skin trauma. And those spots can take months, sometimes years, to fade.
That sounds awful.
It is. And number 3 is infection. If you're using dirty fingers or unsterilized tools, you're pushing bacteria into the skin. That can lead to nasty infections like cellulitis. And, there's the triangle of death area.
The what now?
The triangle of the area from the corners of your mouth up to the bridge of your nose. Infections there are rare. They can be serious because the blood vessels connect directly to your brain. It just underscores why hygiene and gentle handling are absolutely critical if you attempt anything yourself.
Wow, okay. So, if someone is absolutely determined to try something at home, what are the non-negotiables for safety?
Okay, non-negotiables. First, sterilization. Any tool you use must be cleaned with 70% isopropyl alcohol before and after, every single time.
Got it, alcohol.
Second, clean hands, wash them thoroughly. Third, clean skin. Use an antibacterial cleanser on the area first. Fourth, be extra cautious in that triangle of death zone.
Right.
And fifth, the golden rule of pressure. If it doesn't come out easily with the gentle, even pressure, stop. Don't force it. Forcing it just pushes the blockage deeper and increases all those risks we talked about.
A gentle pressure or leave it alone.
Exactly. And some people should just avoid DIY extraction altogether. If you're using prescription retinoids, if you've just had a peel, if you're on blood thinners, your skin is more fragile, best to leave it to the pros or stick to topical treatments. And always check with a doctor if you have underlying skin issues.
Are there any red flags, like times you should definitely see a doctor after trying?
Yes. If you experience excessive bleeding, if the area gets increasingly painful, swollen, warm, or starts oozing pus, those are signs of infection. If you create an actual open wound or if you develop a fever after trying extraction, any of those, seek medical attention. Your skin's health is just not worth the risk of a bad DIY job.
That's a really sobering list. It definitely makes you rethink just, going at it in the mirror. It's empowering, though, knowing what not to do.
Knowledge is key.
Okay, let's shift gears completely. This next part is, fascinating and maybe a little weird. Why on earth do millions of us find watching blackhead extraction videos so satisfying?
It was wild.
I mean, the numbers are staggering. Dr. Pimple Popper has, over 7 million subscribers? Videos with 10, 20 million views. What is going on in our brain?
It really is a captivating psychological phenomenon, and the science behind it is pretty cool, actually. It taps into some fundamental brain chemistry.
Like what?
Well, a big part of it is dopamine. When we watch a successful extraction, seeing that plug come out cleanly, our brain releases dopamine.
A reward chemical.
Exactly. It's the same neurotransmitter that gives us a buzz from completing a task, eating something delicious, achieving a goal. It feels good. Our brain literally rewards us for witnessing that completion, that problem solved.
So it's like ticking something off a list, but visually.
Sort of, yeah. There's also this concept psychologists sometimes call benign masochism.
Benign masochism. Sounds interesting.
It does. It's the idea of enjoying negative sensations or experiences, but in a totally safe context. Think about people who love horror movies or really spicy foods.
Okay, yeah.
You're experiencing something technically negative, like disgust in this case, but you're safe, so there's this weird blend of thrill and satisfaction. You get the disgust factor, but also the relief and completion when it's over.
Disgust and satisfaction together. Okay.
There's also just a very basic human desire to create order from chaos. Seeing something perceived as wrong or out of place on the skin being removed, fixed, cleaned up, that taps into our need for tidiness and resolution.
Making things neat and tidy.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the community aspect either.
Yeah.
Go into the comments section of those videos. People share their own struggles, their own satisfaction. It creates this shared experience, this sense of we're all in this together, which kind of amplifies the feeling.
Yeah, you do see that. People relating to it.
And some research, like from Dr. Nick Haslam, suggests watching these methodical, repetitive actions can actually be quite stress-reducing for some people. It can be almost meditative, like organizing something or doing a puzzle. It provides a sense of control and predictability.
Meditative popping. Who knew?
Right. It might also appeal more to certain personality types, maybe people with slight obsessive-compulsive tendencies or perfectionist traits who really value order and cleanliness. And then there are mirror neurons.
They're neurons.
Yeah, these are brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we simply observe someone else performing that action. So when you watch an extraction, your mirror neurons might be firing as if you were doing it, giving you a vicarious sense of accomplishment.
So my brain thinks I'm doing the popping.
In a way, yes. And finally, just the sheer visual impact. That strong before and after contrast is processed by our brains as successful problem solving. It's very clear, very definitive. Problem, solution, done.
Wow, there's a lot more going on there than just morbid curiosity. But is there a downside? Does this fascination ever cross a line?
Well, yeah. For most people, it's harmless entertainment. But the sources do point out a potential darker side. For some individuals, watching these videos can actually trigger or worsen dermatillomania, which is compulsive skin picking. It's a recognized psychological condition where people have an uncontrollable urge to pick at their skin, often causing damage. It affects maybe 1 to 5% of the population. So for that group, these videos can be a significant trigger.
Okay, that's important to be aware of. It really makes you think about your own reaction, doesn't it? Why do I find this satisfying? It's clearly tapping into something deep.
It really is. Our brains are complex things.
Indeed they are. Okay, as fascinating as the psychology is, let's look forward. The whole world of skincare, including blackhead treatment, seems to be moving so fast. What are some of the really cutting-edge trends and technologies we're seeing now, or maybe just around the corner?
Oh, it's a genuinely exciting time for skincare innovation. We're seeing some amazing advances. For instance, artificial intelligence is playing a bigger role in diagnosis.
AI for pimples. How does that work?
Well, there are apps now, like Skin Vision or Face App, that use machine learning. You take a picture of your skin, and the AI can analyze it to distinguish between blackheads, sebaceous filaments, acne, other conditions, with pretty high accuracy, like up to 96% in some cases.
Wow.
And these tools can also track your skin's progress over time and give you personalized product recommendations based on the analysis.
That's pretty futuristic. What else?
Ultrasonic extraction devices are becoming more common even for home use.
Ultrasonic, like sound waves.
Yeah, high-frequency vibrations. Devices often called skin spatulas. They vibrate very rapidly against the skin. And this helps loosen the comedones, the plugs, without needing as much direct pressure as traditional extraction. Some home use ones are available now for like under $50.
It's interesting. Less pressure, less risk, maybe.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's LED light therapy. This isn't brand new, but the technology and accessibility are improving.
Blue light, red light.
Exactly. Blue light, typically around 450 nanometers, is known to target and kill the P. acnes bacteria we talked about. Red light, around 660 nanometers, helps reduce inflammation and promotes skin healing. Combination devices using both blue and red light are showing really good results in trials, sometimes like 89% improvement in acne lesions.
So light can fight bacteria and calm the skin down.
Precisely. And another huge area is the microbiome revolution.
Focusing on the skin's bacteria.
Yes, but in a different way. Instead of just killing bacteria, new treatments are focusing on rebalancing the skin's entire bacterial ecosystem, fostering the good bacteria to help keep the bad ones in check. Think probiotic skincare. The idea is that a healthy, balanced microbiome can actually help prevent blackheads from forming in the first place.
Okay, so working with the skin's natural environment, not just against it, that feels like a big shift.
It really is. And things are getting incredibly personalized. We're seeing genetic testing.
Genetic testing for skincare.
Yeah, companies like SkinDNA or Genoskin, they analyze your DNA to look for predispositions towards things like oil production, inflammation, acne formation. Based on your specific genetic profile, they can then recommend or even create customized skincare products. Some studies suggest these personalized products can be up to 70% more effective than generic ones.
Tailored to your DNA. Wow.
And nanotechnology is making ingredients work better too.
Right.
They can now encapsulate active ingredients like retinoids or salicylic acid in tiny nanoparticles.
What does that do?
It helps them penetrate deeper into the pores, closer to where they need to work. It can also mean less irritation on the skin's surface and potentially make the ingredients up to 40% more effective. So better results with fewer side effects.
Smarter ingredients. That makes sense.
And, the market is huge. The global acne treatment market is expected to hit nearly $17 billion by 2034, and blackhead treatments are a fast-growing part of that. So there's massive incentive for innovation.
And is sustainability factoring in at all?
Increasingly, yes. Brands are developing things like refillable extraction tools, pore strips made from biodegradable materials, and even waterless product formulations to reduce environmental impact.
Good to hear. Any other surprises?
Maybe virtual reality therapy. It sounds unusual, but VR is actually being explored as a tool to help treat dermatillomania, that compulsive skin picking condition.
Oh.
By creating virtual environments where patients can learn to redirect those picking impulses in a safe, controlled way. And of course, telemedicine is huge now.
Right, online dermatologists.
Exactly. Platforms like Curology or Apostrophe connect you directly with licensed dermatologists online. You get consultations, personalized prescriptions, ongoing monitoring, all remotely. It makes professional-grade care much more accessible for many people.
So from AI diagnosis on your phone to DNA-matched creams and VR therapy, the future isn't just coming, it's kind of already here. It's making treatment way more targeted and easier to access.
Absolutely. It's a very different landscape than even 5 or 10 years ago.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, a few key things really stand out. First, blackheads are definitely not dirt, that's oxidation.
Crucial takeaway.
Second, knowing the difference between a blackhead and a normal sebaceous filament can save you a lot of trouble. Third, safe removal is critical. Gentle techniques, sterile tools, and knowing when not to pick is paramount. Professional help is often the best bet.
Absolutely.
And finally, the future is exciting, it's personalized, it's tech-driven, and it's becoming much more accessible.
That really sums it up well. And I think the core message, maybe the most important one, is about consistency and patience.
Right.
Using the right products and techniques consistently over time is always going to be more effective and safer than resorting to aggressive quick fixes that can damage your skin. It's about respecting your unique skin and giving treatments time to work. No magic wands, unfortunately.
But better, safer approaches are definitely available.
Definitely.
So here's a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe mull over. Now that you understand a bit more about the real science of your skin, what blackheads are, how they form, and maybe even some of the psychology behind your habits, how might that change your daily routine? How might it change your perception of what perfect skin even means?
That's a great question to ponder.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into blackheads. We hope this knowledge helps you think critically about your skin's health and, the information you see out there. Because remember, knowledge really is the best treatment.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments. It really means a lot to us.